Hello, everyone. This is Jay Dobbins on the Marvel DC Multiverse. We are now episode 397, and I'll be discussing one topic, which is Henry Cavill already has another job after announcing he won't be in the next Superman. So, obviously, Henry Cavill will not be returning as Superman, but he's super excited about his next role. Following the December 14th news that he would not play Clark Kent again for future Superman films, Henry has lined up his next gig to star and to star in, and of course executive produce, to become the star and executive. Well, he's already executive producer, but to be the executive producer and star for Prime Video's Warhammer 40,000 or 40K, an adaptation of the science fiction war game. So he said, and I quote, "For 30 years, I've dreamt of seeing a Warhammer universe in live action. Now, after 22 years of experience in this industry, I finally feel that I have the skill set and experience to guide a Warhammer cinematic universe into life." End quote. Captioned along with a video of the game's signature logo, he continued, and I quote, "And having a home like Amazon will give us the freedom to be true to the massive scope of Warhammer. To all of you Warhammer fans out there, I promise to respect this IP that we love. I promise to bring you something familiar. And I endeavor to bring you something fantastic that is as of yet unseen." Unquote. End quote. So, the heartwarming post ended with him sharing the show's first steps, which he said is to find our filmmaker, creator, and writer. So, Henry's resume has made headlines quite a bit in 2022. In October, the actor announced he wouldn't be returning as Geralt in The Witcher, a role that was then replaced by Liam Hemsworth for season 4. So he said, and I quote, "My journey as Geralt of Rivia has been filled with both monsters, adventures, and Alice. I will be laying down my medallion and my swords for season 4. End quote. So he wrote on Instagram at the time, and he said, and I quote, "In my stead, the fantastic Mr. Liam Hemsworth will be taking up the mantle of the White Wolf." End quote. So, that same month, the Superman star announced his return to the superhero role after a cameo in Black Adam. He said, and I quote, "A very small taste of what's to come, my friends." End quote. He happily shared on social media the dawn of hope, and I quote, the dawn of hope renewed. Thank you for your patience. It will be rewarded." End quote. So unfortunately, his return to Superman was eventually scrapped by James Gunn and Peter Safran, who now oversee Disney movies. So he said, and I quote, that my turn to wear the cape has passed, end quote. Henry wrote December 14th on Instagram. And he continued to say, and I quote, "But what Superman stands for never will. It's been a fun ride with you all, onwards and upwards." End quote. So the premiere date for Warhammer 40K has not yet been announced. So I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty pissed off to find out that James Gunn and Peter Safran fired Henry Cavill, but still he's able to bounce back. Now that he's going to be part of the Warhammer 4K project. So I'm very happy about that. I'm very happy for him, and I look forward to seeing the show. I'm pretty sure it's going to be good, and he's going to, those 23 million people will be happy to see it. I'm pretty sure they'll look forward to seeing it. But as far as James Gunn and Peter Safran, I don't have any hope for them. I really can't. I don't know if they're going to succeed in getting, Disney Studios off the ground. Well, getting off the ground is one thing, but making it $1 billion juggernaut like Marvel Studios and Disney, no. I don't really see that. But now, if they do make, the only reason I wouldn't even give them a chance at first. But the only reason why I'm doing it is because of a possible multiverse, which is the Crisis event, where the current Justice League of DC Studios would team up with the Justice League from the Snyderverse, along with the other previous characters from the DCEU, teaming up with the current DCU, to fight whatever crisis is going on. So that means Henry Cavill can come back, Gal Gadot can come back. I guess a recast Cyborg from that line, from a different Cyborg, from that different actor playing Cyborg from that timeline instead of Ray Fisher, a different Flash instead of Ezra Miller. So yeah, and then you can probably get the Shazam family too, because obviously Shazam's going to be rebooted. So obviously they're doing a full reboot, which I'm going to, like I said, the only reason why I'm going to watch these movies is because, one, my best friend loves watching DC films, along with Marvel, and I had to cover the DC movies along with the Marvel movies for this podcast. So, and of course, to my YouTube channel as well. So, if I didn't have a podcast or YouTube channel, I probably wouldn't even be watching the DC movies. But, it is what it is. So, I had to do it, even if I don't want to do it. But anyway, I'm very happy for Henry Cavill. I just wish that DC Entertainment and Warner Brothers have gotten their crap together. Instead, they decided, we're going to just do separate, universes or whatever, which is not the way to go, especially if you're trying to compete with Marvel Studios. Marvel Studios they were very consistent and they stayed on point. They had they knew exactly what they wanted to do, and they created only one universe, and they kept the story going. They didn't spend years trying to figure out what to do, and then create movies that had nothing to do with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They didn't do all that. DC did all that. They're doing the DCEU. Then doing the Batman movie with Robert Pattinson along with and then the Joker with Joaquin Phoenix. You have all these movies and then all these different TV shows from the Arrowverse and stuff like that. I'm thinking like, okay, have one universe where it can flow, And on top of that, be consistent. Marvel Studios was consistent, and that's the reason why they're $1 billion movie. They're a $1 billion company. Which, well, for now anyway, but right now the movies ain't been making $1 billion. Except for Spider-Man, No Way Home, but that's Sony, so that doesn't really count. Well, they haven't made they haven't made $1 billion movies since then. They came close with Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, but obviously, with this, but now the DCU are finally going to get their crap together, which they should have done that in the first place. Then Walter Hamada was going to use the Flashpoint to undo the Snyderverse, but then Dwayne Johnson kind of got in the way of that because he had his own vision for the DCEU. So yeah, you had that going on. You had the Dwayne Johnson and a lot of button hits. So that's what created the problem, and that's the reason why if you're gonna it's obvious, like, as far as like, but if you're gonna say who won between you know which universe won, which movie verse or superhero, which type of which movie versus won between the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the DCEU, or the DC Extended Universe. Obviously, the Marvel Cinematic Universe has won, obviously, because they were consistent and they had a slate. DC never had a slate. You know, they should have been making. I mean, if they were going to do a DC, if they were going to create the DCEU, they should have done that the same year that the MCU was created. Like with Iron Man, when Iron Man came out, a Superman movie for the DCEU should have came out that same year. But instead, it took them 5 years to do another Superman movie. That's because they were doing a Dark Knight trilogy. So as soon as the Dark Knight trilogy was done, then that's when the DC Extended Universe was born. But like I said, they were doing that 3-year gap for the Dark Knight trilogy, so that's what messed it up. But they should have. But yeah, they should have just. Yeah, but I don't know. It's a pattern that they had with Warner Brothers and DC, like Superman. Was it Man of Steel, 2013? Oh, 3 years later, Batman vs Superman, 2016. Then, of course, a year later, 2017, Wonder Woman, 2018, Aquaman, 2019, Shazam. So you had one DC movie each year. Well, two in 2016, because you had Batman vs Superman and Suicide Squad. So you had those two movies for that 1 year, but then 2017 it was like 2017 Wonder Woman, 2018 Aquaman. So, and then I guess it was in 2019 Shazam. So you had one. So after 2016, you had one DC movie per year. And I'm thinking, like, are you kidding me? Then, of course, actually, nah, sorry. I scratched that. 2016, you had two DC movies. 2017, you also had two movies as well, because you had you had Justice League and, of course, Wonder Woman. And then 2018, that's when you had just that one movie, Aquaman, for that year. And then I think it was Birds of Prey for 2019 along with Shazam. Or I think it was 2020 Birds of Prey. I'm not sure, but. And then 2019, The Joker, which was separate from the universe. So yeah, it was inconsistent and it was unorganized, and that's what led to their downfall. And that's the reason why they don't have enough money to spend. They can't even afford to keep any of the actors. Not even for Black Adam, and then Black Adam didn't even make $1 billion. It made $390 million worldwide. Now, if they hadn't gotten banned in China, they would have gotten that movie would have made profit. With an extra $300 million, because the population in China is a billion anyway. So, yeah. But anyway. So now they want to start all the way up. So obviously, Marvel Studios has won, pretty much. And DC, now they struggling now. They got to start from scratch, and then now they're gonna have to. The James Gunn and Peter Safran are gonna have to win over the DC fans that they alienated. So don't know how that's gonna go, but. On top of that, you make DC films to where they only appeal to adults. If they made it to where, hey, they should have made these movies kid friendly, except for Batman, of course, has been dark. It should remain dark, but um, the other movies, well, except for Suicide Squad, I would say Suicide Squad and then of course Dark, along with Batman, Dark. So I would say the rest of the DC films should have been, they should have been, kid friendly because most parents did not bring their kids to see Man of Steel or Batman vs Superman because Zack Snyder is best known for dark and gritty movies. And that's not the way to go, especially if you're trying to compete with Marvel Studios. So that was another reason why the DCU failed. Because they should have made these films kid friendly. Except for Batman and Suicide Squad. Those are the only films that should remain dark. But as far as gritty, no. So yeah, having Zack Snyder do a kid friendly movie, no. I mean, having him do the movie, that's like having the iceberg bringing back the doggone Titanic. That's never going to happen. So, but one thing I can say to Peter Safran and James Gunn is good luck because they're going to need it. So, that concludes this topic. Feel free to visit us, like us on Facebook, available on iTunes, Google Play Music app, Spotify, and of course YouTube.